And look at this guy. Look at this. I'm punching this guy like non-stop. Don't ever get into a fist fight with this guy. He will beat your ass every time. So the Doom guy can like rip people's jaws off and rip off their horns, but he can't win a one-on-one fight against this guy. Look at him. He can take a hit. Come on. He's gotta die one day, right? Right? It's the Doom guy. The Doom guy. Oh, nope. Owned.
How does that work?
I think I found the absolute worst review of Doom Eternal that has ever been made, and I know there's been tons of shitty ones that I've covered in the past, but this one by far is the most idiotic and brain-numbing one I've ever watched. In short, it's basically the epitome of a Doom boomer, summarized into one video. He seems to just hate modern games overall, and shits on Doom Eternal for modernizing itself instead of simply being stuck in the past. And because of the backlash he received from his absolutely horrible take on Doom Eternal, he made a response video which is full of the classic boomer comedy that absolutely nobody finds funny.
Great, another one of those Doom Eternal is not like the old Doom boomers. We're no longer in the 90s, Grandpa, and please never ever say to my face that Doom Eternal is the worst. It is the best of all Dooms, for many reasons.
Hey, what's that you say? You gotta speak into my good ear.
So we'll take a look at his response later in this video, and if you do want to see that, then I'll put a timestamp for it on screen. So without further delay, I'll let the video play.
Now I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this video, but I really wanted to make this video because I'm a huge Doom fan.
You know, it's always a good sign when watching a video to essentially hear someone say, I know my take on this topic is really shit, and I'll get hate for it, but I'm gonna upload it anyway.
I've been playing Doom since the original 1993 version of Doom back on the PC, and it blew my mind back then. I loved it, and I played it daily. And I've actually loved every Doom game, every major Doom game released since then. Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 64, even Doom 2016 I really enjoyed. Back in the day, I actually used to build deathmatch maps for the original Doom and Doom 2. We played it all the time at my house. We had 3 PCs networked together, and we played 3-player deathmatches, which was insane back then, because this predated Ethernet or Wi-Fi, and it was just so awesome to be playing a first-person shooter from 3 different vantage points, 3 different players fighting each other. It was insane.
I hate to break it to you, but absolutely nobody cares. This is completely irrelevant to a review of Doom Eternal, and it's very clear you only put this in because you are fairly aware of how shitty your take is, and you just want to pretend you're an expert on Doom to block criticism, even though this video shows you have a clear lack of understanding of the basic mechanics featured in Doom Eternal.
But for this video, I'm gonna point out what they did wrong with Doom Eternal and what they can change to make the next Doom game really great and bring it back to what made Doom so great to begin with.
They did bring Doom back to its roots with Doom 2016, and Eternal is literally just Doom 2016 on crack. I've also never seen anyone but this guy try to claim otherwise. The fact he's trying to claim Doom Eternal is a worse game than Doom 3 is fucking ludicrous.
Whenever I think about Doom and the fundamentals of it and what makes it so great, I don't think about things like double jumping and air dashing and climbing up on walls and swimming underwater. None of that stuff sounds like Doom to me.
It's amazing to me that this guy doesn't see Doom as a fast-paced shooter. Like, how the fuck are you unironically trying to claim that adding mechanics like dash, which make the movement faster, is bad, is insane to me. He's complaining the game's gameplay is too Doom for him, whilst claiming he wants Doom to quote-unquote go back to its roots. One of the fundamentals of Doom has always been its fast-paced gameplay, and yet he hates them adding more ways to increase the speed of the game's movement and gameplay. The mental gymnastics here are frankly pretty impressive.
Doom Eternal feels like a Metroid Prime game, a linear Metroid Prime game. It even looks similar with all the platforming and the exploration. It basically feels like Metroid Prime with up-close violent kills.
Did this man really edit his video, watch it back again, then render it and watch it back again and still think comparing a 2D platformer to Doom Eternal was a sane thing to do? How the hell does someone think that's a remotely logical comparison? I don't think I even need to get into why his Metroid Prime comparison is so idiotic, since most people on this planet have more than enough brain cells to figure out why it's such a shitty comparison.
And to me, the weapons don't feel like they have a lot of kick to them. Like whenever you're playing with the super shotgun in Doom or Doom 2, you can really feel it. Like you shoot that weapon and you just mow down a line of enemies right away. It's totally insane and it feels great.
I don't think he knows what feels means and what makes a good game. It's pretty wild that this man is trying to say the super shotgun in Doom Eternal doesn't feel impactful, when almost everyone agrees that the guns in Doom Eternal feel impactful and are impactful. What this guy is doing is getting confused between something feeling good and something looking good, because the example he uses for the OG Doom games is fucking laughable at best, because it's purely visual candy and neither good game design nor do the guns actually feel impactful. Imagine if in Doom Eternal you could just walk around with a super shotgun and one-shot everything like he's suggesting they should make it happen. It would be one of the worst experiences possible for a Doom game, or any game for that matter. And what makes his statement of the guns not feeling impactful even more hilarious is the ballista, which literally shoots you 5 meters in the opposite direction to which you're facing when you shoot with it. If that's not impactful, I don't know what is.
In Doom Eternal, the enemies are basically like bullet sponges. You can just empty out your entire arsenal at them and they'll still be standing, and that's going to happen a lot. You're going to run out of ammo all the friggin' time in this game, and that drives me crazy.
The only way to run out of ammo in Doom Eternal is to completely lack a basic understanding of the most simple mechanics the game has. The chainsaw which you use to get ammo recharges one slot automatically, and fodder enemies are constantly spawned in arenas to make sure it is essentially impossible to run out of ammo unless you completely and utterly lack an understanding of Doom Eternal's most basic mechanics. Ammo management is a legitimate mechanic in Doom Eternal, and it's not the game's fault you couldn't grasp the game's tutorial for the chainsaw.
Later on in that game, you're going to be running around these arenas, fighting groups of enemies, and you're basically just doing whatever damage you can, and then you're going to be spending the rest of your time running around trying to get your health back, your armor back, and some ammo back.
All of that should naturally happen whilst killing the demons. You shouldn't need to run away and get your health, armor, and ammo back. I genuinely think this guy doesn't know glory kills give you health, and I'm honestly starting to doubt he even knows the flame belch exists.
And it's just rinse and repeat over and over again until you reach the end of it, and it's quite annoying, and I dislike it.
Damn, I guess we really do have another upper echelon wannabe on our hands here. He's taking a page right out of upper echelon gaming's book right now, and complaining about Doom Eternal having too much gameplay.
The level design isn't anything like the previous Doom games. So in Doom and Doom 2, even Doom 3, there's a lot of memorizing the level so that you can go to certain points pretty quickly. In Doom Eternal, everything's broken up into combat sections, and then you have the exploration section where you're doing the platforming and looking around for the next lever to hit or something like that.
The Super Gore-ness level itself disproves his entire argument here. The level design for Doom Eternal is no different to the old games, and I really have no idea how he thinks they are. Doom has always had different combat rooms, the only difference being is that in the 1993 game you can run away from those encounters, and in Doom Eternal it doesn't allow you to do that, which in my opinion is a definitive upgrade, as the game actually challenges you instead of offering you several escape routes from an encounter. He also says the exploration areas are separate to the combat areas, which is factually incorrect. The exploration you can do almost always takes place within those combat arenas, just like in the original games.
And look at this guy. Look at this. I'm punching this guy like non-stop. Don't ever get into a fist fight with this guy. He will beat your ass every time. So the Doom guy can like rip people's jaws off and rip off their horns, but he can't win a one-on-one fight against this guy.
If you wanted definitive proof this guy has a total lack of understanding of the fundamental mechanics of Doom Eternal, then here it is. Those enemies purely exist to use the chainsaw and flame belch on. That is quite literally their only purpose.
Look at him. He can take a hit. Come on. He's gotta die one day, right? Right? It's the Doom guy. The Doom guy. Oh, nope. Owned.
I don't even know what to say in response to his gameplay, other than the fact I now know why his video pretty much entirely lacks gameplay of Doom Eternal.
And a lot of the enemies just feel cheap to play against, and it's a lot of trial and error to figure out what the best strategy is to defeat these guys. And it was more annoying than anything else. I just couldn't get into it.
This just screams I'm stuck in the 90s. He's complaining that Doom Eternal has too much depth and therefore too much gameplay for him to enjoy, and he seemingly wanted software to oversimplify Doom.
I mean, it's not all bad. The graphics are great. The music is fantastic. Thanks, Mick Gordon.
Holy shit, he really has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. The majority of the music for Doom Eternal was not made or mixed by Mick Gordon because he refused to meet the deadlines it let him set for himself. The fact he doesn't have a clue about one of the biggest controversies surrounding Doom Eternal during its launch says a lot. Considering how he likes to claim he's a big fan of Doom, I find that extremely unbelievable since he doesn't even know about the controversy with Mick Gordon.
Here's what I would suggest for them to make the next Doom game a true winner and legendary and worthy of the Doom name. Okay, so 2 things right off the bat. First thing is they gotta bring back the 4-player co-op campaign. Nothing's more fun than playing with a group of friends, going through the campaign together and just mowing down enemies. Okay, that's number 1.
Number 2, don't invest so much time into telling the story. I think in Doom Eternal they had like these priests you had to go and kill so that they couldn't complete whatever ritual they were trying to do to make something bad happen. I honestly don't know, because I didn't pay attention to the storyline because it was very uninteresting. They have a bunch of like weird names, and I don't care. I just want to get to the action.
Wait until he realizes the original games also had a story and you were playing through the story in those games. Also, no, the focus on the story was done perfectly, to be honest, and all cutscenes were skippable for a reason, my guy. The way they implemented the storytelling into Doom Eternal is hands down fantastic. Plus, the story is very interesting if you follow it through all the canon games, and I mean very interesting. Doom is the only franchise with lore that I've actually been able to give a shit about and put time into watching video about its lore.
Anyways, back to the suggestions. So the next thing I have is to give players a true map editor, not Snap Map. That was one of the things I was looking forward to with 2016 Doom was Snap Map. You can build your own maps, you can share them online. I thought this is great because I built a ton of maps back in the day. I built a lot of tracks for the trial series, so that was like, that spoke to me directly. I'm like, let's do this, I'm ready. But Snap Map was a very, very lame, very bland editor. You just have like pre-made sections that you can like piece together like Lego blocks.
Does this guy want them to implement a full-blown game engine into Doom or something? Imagine how big the file size for Doom Eternal would be if they did what this guy wanted them to do and essentially implement a full-blown game engine into a singular video game. If you want to do that shit, then create a mod for Doom Eternal like tons of other people have done. He has to be one of the only people to exist that doesn't like Snap Map as well. Like, what the fuck was going through his brain when he told himself that wanting a game engine inside a game was reasonable?
Okay, so anyways, back to my suggestions on the next Doom game. Besides the co-op in the campaign and the level editor, they need to change the combat system entirely. Bring it back to the original Doom. I feel like in Doom Eternal they spent too much time trying to make the combat revolve around jumping from one glory kill to the next, to the next, to the next, in order to get your armor and your health back and your ammo back, and it's like, Doom isn't about that, isn't about figuring out which method do I use to kill my enemy so that he drops the thing that I need.
Congratulations on contradicting your previous point and the current point you were making in one sentence. You're literally saying Doom Eternal is about finding out what weapons to use to get certain things and how to get certain things. But number one, that's what glory kills, the flame belch, and the chainsaw do. Number two, in the OG Doom games, all you do is pick up armor packs, health packs, and ammo packs. And number three, you literally said earlier in your review that this is one of the things you hated about Doom Eternal.
And a lot of the enemies just feel cheap to play against, and it's a lot of trial and error to figure out what the best strategy is to defeat these guys, and it was more annoying than anything else. I just couldn't get into it. I suggest that they give you all the tools you need to deal with the encounters, all the ammo you're going to need.
They do.
And I have a radical suggestion. Here we go. I suggest that they take the environment complexity down and the enemy complexity down, like lower the polygon count a little bit. Because in Doom Eternal and Doom 2016, there's very few instances where you have more than like 6 enemies on the screen at once, 6, 7, 8 maybe at the most.
I'm genuinely starting to doubt he's even played Doom Eternal at this point. It's very clear he hasn't played much of the game, if any at all, from this one clip. There are far more enemies on screen than just 6 to 8 in a hell of a lot of encounters during Doom Eternal. And he's once again complaining that Doom Eternal has too much gameplay and too much depth. One of the most idiotic statements a person could make. He's literally asking for them to downgrade the game whilst pretending like he's asking for them to improve it.
I think they should bump it up to like 100 enemies on the screen at once. Just make it totally insane, filled with enemies, imps, and soldiers, and whoever else they can throw in there. But make the enemies easier to kill and slower, so that way you're not completely overwhelmed right away. You can see them coming, you know they're coming, and you can start preparing for it right away.
This has to be one of the dumbest things I have ever heard a human being say. He just wants the game to be a mindless shooter instead of actually being a good game, and it's very clear he has no idea what he's talking about. The guy's desperately trying to not say the game's bad because it's too hard, and it really shows due to how much he's asking them to downgrade the game into a mindless shooter that requires no skill or effort to play.
I also don't like how in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, the enemies just disappear. You like kill them and then they drop these little glowing things that you pick up, and then that's it. It's like you do this massive encounter, this massive combat section, and then you come back to it a minute later and it's like it never happened. Everything's clean as a whistle.
If id Software tried to leave every single demon's body that you kill just lying around forever after death, the PS4, PS4 Pro, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, and even a high-end PC would quite literally blow up. The amount of CPU usage that would take is incredible, and it really shows how completely unknowledgeable this guy seemingly is when it comes to gaming as a whole, apparently. Like, just imagine the Nintendo Switch trying to run that.
And I was talking about this subject to some other people on my social media accounts, and I found that other people were having a very similar experience. They're like, I played it, but it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like Doom. Or one guy even played 2 hours of it and then just like stopped playing. He's like, Just couldn't get into it, so we just stopped playing.
What website is that? I feel like it's some shitty retro gaming forum. And if you look at the majority of people, they enjoy Doom Eternal and love everything you hate about it. It's very clear from the game's high reviews and from the reception of your video that your opinion is not the majority, and that id should not listen to you at all, since you've completely proven throughout this video you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about when it comes to the Doom franchise and apparently gaming hardware, or even gaming as a whole. You seem to just be stuck in the 1990s, to be honest.
I played through the rest of the game, waiting for it to get good, and I never liked it. And it was never good for me. I'm sure some people out there love it, but for me personally, coming from an old school Doom fan standpoint, I just couldn't get into it at all, and I wish they had done something different. But now Microsoft has the opportunity to do something different. Now that they own the Doom franchise, they can really kick it up a notch and make it a true Xbox Series X system seller.
Ah yes, because a non-Xbox exclusive game will definitely be a system seller for the Xbox.
Alright, so this video went on way too long, and I apologize for that. I just wanted to make a few quick points because I really wanted to like Doom Eternal, okay? I really did. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with me or if you think I'm totally wrong and way off base. Just let me know. Let me know your opinion. I'd love to hear what you think.
I mean, the fact you made a response video where you poorly attempt to make fun of people criticizing your Doom Eternal review kinda says the opposite to why I want to hear your guys' opinions. So with that awful fucking video out of the way, it's time to torture ourselves even more by taking a look at his response video. So without further delay, let's get into it.
Alright, so this is just a follow-up to my previous Doom Eternal video where I was criticizing Doom Eternal and trying to explain why I just didn't like it.
And you did a downright terrible attempt to criticize the game, resulting in negative feedback, which you're now going to try and mock because God forbid people give you legitimate critiques.
Needless to say, it was a very unpopular opinion and that was reflected on the ratings.
The boomer Facebook memes in this video just get worse from here, and I'd advise most people to click off my video due to how painful they are to sit through.
I didn't make that video to try to convince other people to not like the game.
That's literally the whole point of a review, to try and convince people to either buy a game or to not buy a game, and your video was essentially a review of Doom Eternal.
And like I said, I didn't expect everybody to agree with me, but what I found interesting is that whenever you go and look at the Metacritic reviews, all the user reviews, on Metacritic and also on Xbox Live, you'll find a ton of people that basically didn't like the game for the same exact reasons that I didn't like it.
And you will find 8 times more reviews saying the complete opposite thing, because guess what? You were objectively wrong in your review, and some of the stuff you said was downright laughable at best, like wanting them to literally implement an entire game engine into Doom Eternal.
And I know we're all in the minority in not liking the game, but our reasons for not liking the game is all the same. So maybe id Software can take that to heart whenever they're developing the next Doom game.
That's honestly a horrible idea. If id listened to the reviews you showed and what you said in your review, Doom would turn out to be yet another Fallout 76.
And like I mentioned in my previous video, I don't think Doom Eternal is a bad game, but I don't think it feels like a Doom game to begin with. It's basically like a gymnastics simulator with guns.
If you're still here, I feel no pity for you. I told you the shitty Facebook boomer memes only get worse, and trust me, they somehow get even worse than that.
But I wanted to take this moment to read one of the best comments I got on that last video and respond to it accordingly.
Great, another one of those Doom Eternal is not like the old Doom boomers. We're no longer in the 90s, Grandpa, and please never ever say to my face that Doom Eternal is the worst. It is the best of all Dooms, for many reasons.
Hey, what's that you say? You gotta speak into my good ear.
I love how instead of disproving the part of the comment, he just proves them right by making yet another shitty Facebook boomer joke.
Number 1, better graphics. Number 2, gameplay is less boring. Number 3, enemies are already fine. Nobody needs to lower their complexity. You just suck. Number 4, the level design is great. Like I said previously, it makes the game less boring. Number 5, fists are well made. Try to fist fight a tyrant in real life. You would lose for sure.
I got a pretty mean right hook.
Oh my god, this is just painful. You've got to love how he's not even trying to disprove their points and is just trying to mock them, but accidentally proves their original comment correct. The fact he's once again zapped through his video to record it, edit it, render it, and then rewatch it and still thought this was a good idea to upload is honestly baffling to me.
Number 6, lore is great, and don't you ever desecrate it. Your tiny pea brain simply doesn't understand.
I like cheese.
Number 7. Who needs a map editor? If you want to make maps, go to college and learn level designing. Oh, oops, it's true. You are too dumb for that, LaMayo.
Your mom goes to college.
Number 8. I absolutely loved the addition of platforming, and if you weren't bad at everything, you would also learn to appreciate it, as it makes the game more fun.
No, actually, if I wanted to play a platforming game, I would go play Metroid Prime.
You've got to love how he doesn't dispute most of the things they said and resorts to kindergarten insults instead, but then when he actually tries to disprove a point he falls flat on his face. The commenter is right, the platforming added to arenas adds a whole new way to traverse the arenas and get better angles on demons' weak points, plus you can easily use it in order to gain speed boosts and get advantages over other players in battle mode. To say it's a bad mechanic whilst not even trying to back that claim up is pretty stupid, to be honest, especially with how easily disproven the point is.
In short, we no longer are in the era of retro games. Either you get on with the times or stop calling yourself a Doom fan, because you clearly aren't a true one if you can't appreciate Doom Eternal, and should never ever be worthy of playing any other Doom games. Doom Eternal is a love letter to the franchise, and you dared to post such a video. Not only are you wrong, but you're a functional retard. Fortunately, I'm not the only one thinking that, and you got absolutely ratioed. Please never post a video ever again, and keep in mind that Doom Eternal isn't bad. It is eternal. You simply are too much of a dumb gaming journalist to understand, though. Have fun getting disliked, kid, because you deserved it for such a dumb and outrageous statement.
Hey, I don't appreciate you calling me a kid. I'm a grown-ass man, and you should treat me with respect.
Jesus Christ, if you want respect, then making shitty Facebook level jokes won't get you that respect. At least try to disprove the comment instead of spurging out like this. Although I think that comment gets a little extreme, most of what they said is true, and it's pretty funny to me. He made a response video to a singular comment when he barely even responds to the comment.
Look, it doesn't matter to me that Doom Eternal isn't a retro game.
Your entire review for Doom Eternal proves otherwise, my guy.
New games can be released from old franchises, just like Killer Instinct, for example. I love the old games. I love Killer Instinct 1 and 2. I played the hell out of them in the arcades, on Super Nintendo, and on the N64. And the new one that came out in 2013 for the Xbox One is better than the originals in every single way. Better graphics, better sound, better gameplay, better combo system. That's just an example of how they could remake an old franchise and improve on it in every way.
I love how he uses the fact he likes another game, which was remade for the modern era, to prove how he doesn't hate Doom Eternal for not being retro, as if that proves anything. Even though it doesn't, since the game is nothing like Doom Eternal, it has almost nothing to do with the situation whatsoever.
And for the people who asked, yes, I do think Doom 3 is a better game than Doom Eternal.
You serious?
So he hates Doom Eternal for quote-unquote not sticking to its roots, but he loves Doom 3, which doesn't at all stick to the roots of Doom. It turned a fast-paced FPS into a slow, dark, gritty horror shooter to try and latch onto the genre at the time because it was popular. Doom 3 isn't a Doom game at all. It resembles almost nothing of the OG games and merely shares the name of the series. It's a mediocre horror game and a dogshit Doom game.
If you love Doom Eternal, then great, I'm happy for you. What I'm saying is that if they make the next Doom game anything like Doom Eternal, I'll be passing on it entirely. But thanks for watching this little update video that I decided to make. Please subscribe on YouTube, follow me on Odyssey, and I'll see you again soon.
Well, I know for a fact I won't be doing any of that, and thankfully we have finally come to the end of both his terrible videos about Doom Eternal. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and thank you for getting this far into the video. Since you guys did get so far into the video, I do want to mention the fact I have hidden an Xbox Game Pass gift card somewhere in the video. If you want to go find that, then search through, you'll find it eventually. It's not particularly well hidden, and it's pretty obvious when it pops up, so I'll be surprised if you haven't noticed it already. The only problem with this is the fact that it is only usable for new members of Game Pass, so sorry for that, but I bought an Xbox controller like a month ago and I've got nothing to use the code for, so hopefully someone watching the video claims it. And please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out my Discord, Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe, so that I can see you all in my next video.